Hello friends, welcome back to the Craft Castle. Today we're going to make a actual paper snow globe cake topper. I know, crazy. It's a snow globe and it's made out of paper and a little bit of plastic. We are only going to use the Cricuts today for this project. Couple other supplies you'll need as well, but at least we're only using the Cricut. I get asked a lot how I make my snow globe acrylic cake toppers, and I know that there's a lot of crafters out there that don't have laser cutters, and I'm always getting asked, like, is there a way to make these without using the laser cutter? And today I am going to show you how that is done. This is made out of acrylic. There's a whole bunch of little pieces of acrylic, and this is what I normally make for cake toppers. Just a little demo piece to show you what it looks like finished in acrylic, but today we're doing one out of paper, plastic, just with the Cricuts, and it's gonna look fabulous. Yeah, got a little bit of oil here because my mats, yikes, my heat press mat, I had a little bit of a catastrophe going on. I made a mess. This cake topper business, if you're doing it, it's gonna get a little bit messy, so make sure that you have a clean workspace and there's not anything around, just in case you do start having a mess like me and you start creating a huge goopy mess. Okay, so if you have made a snow globe tumbler, then you know kind of the basics of like the inside workings of what this is. Essentially, all you're gonna need is like baby oil or some type of oil. I have vegetable glycerin. I don't really like to use it very much because it just kind of leaves like a really weird feeling on my hand. And there's more of a separation when the glitter and the glycerin doesn't mend well together. So I don't really like using that. But so I am going to be using a little bit of baby oil. And then I got just a cup of water just to mix that. Again, if you know how to make snow globe tumblers, then this is not going to be new stuff for you. And then just your glitter of choosing. I got this at Hobby Lobby. It is, I actually have another little pouch. See that? That's what it kind of looks like when it's done inside. This has a little bit of water, vegetable glycerin and baby oil in it. And if you like stuff it around a little bit, you can see this like little bubble right here and here. That's the vegetable glycerin. It doesn't want to mix well with the baby oil and the water. See, it's right here. So we're going to try and not use vegetable glycerin for this. Also, the other things that you're going to need for this project, I used it on this one, but I don't know if it's very necessary for it, but I have this super tight all-purpose glue. It's kind of like a silicone glue, so it has a little bit more flex to it. It takes a little bit longer to dry, but I still used it too. I just fill it up in these little syringes. I also use this to glue my acrylics down too. So this glue I always use with my acrylics, and I have a bigger syringe. I mean, this thing is huge, that I just fill up the baby oil and the water and kind of squeeze it in. I'll show you in a little bit. And then alcohol wipes. If you don't have wipes, just alcohol with a cotton swab or cotton pad or something like that, just so if it starts to get messy, you can have something to easily wipe off. You need some scissors. For this project, you are going to need a small little heat press. This thing is super small. It's about the size of my palm. You are going to need this. This is not an optional item, so I will link all of the products that I'm using today. I'll link in the description of this video, but make sure you have to have a little heat press or you won't be able to do this project. To finish it, I also have my hot glue gun. I love hot glue. You can work with it super fast and it dries super quickly. That's why I like this. A lot of this is used with hot glue. You are going to need a couple sticks, like popsicle sticks, if you're going to end up making this as a cake topper. You're going to need some sticks. One for down here, and then actually there's a whole bunch in here. It's hidden, but there's a whole bunch in here to keep it from stabilizing and falling over, because I mean, it is water and it's pretty heavy. And then the last thing that you are going to need is some vinyl covering. This is like that stuff, you know, back in like the 40s and 50s, people would cover their couches in it and it would be, you know, kind of gross and nasty. So this is what that is. All you're going to need is a little bit of this. You can buy it on Amazon. You can also get it at Walmart, Joann's. I'm sure any fabric store has it. And it's just vinyl covering. That's it. Okay, first we are gonna go back to the computer, or we're gonna go to the computer, and we're gonna design this cake topper first. So you are gonna need some cardstock for that too. I totally forgot to mention that. I am using my glitter cardstock. This is all my glitter cardstock for this. And then this is a print and cut image that you also will need, but I will give you the directions on how to get the circles part of it. But it's really not that hard, super simple. Should only take us about like 2 minutes to get that design done. And then once we cut and we come back here, that's when the fun begins. All right, y'all, let's get started. Open up a brand new window in Design Space. It'll be completely empty like this. Now, these, like I said before, this is gonna be super simple. All you're gonna need is a couple circles, and we're just gonna really only add one of them. So here's in the shapes right here, click that and just add in a shape. You're gonna make this any size that you want to. I'm gonna make it 5.5 inches. That is going to be this very back, whoops, where are you? This very back one right here, this very back circle, that's what that's going to be right here. So we're going to need a couple of those. And the reason why we're doing this is we're filling it up and it's going to be kind of heavy. So we kind of need like a lot of stability. So we are going to create 2 backers. So we're going to copy and paste it, and we're going to have 2 5.5 circles. And I'm just going to center that. This is going to be our very back. Now, I'll bring this one up here real quick. Okay, copy and paste that one more time. Whatever is that you want your snow globe to be, this inside portion right here, whatever you want that clear portion to be, that's going to be your outline. We're going to create that, and we'll just cut that later. But it's going to be cut out of paper, and then we'll cut it in the vinyl. Whatever you want that to be, that you're now going to size. I'm like fumbling over my words. I don't know what's wrong with me. So we're just going to make this any size that you want. It doesn't really matter. I liked that it was a little bit smaller than the actual 5.5 circle. And I'll show you later when we're assembling, and I'll show you what the original one looks like. I like it to be a little like smaller than the original. We're going to make it like that. What is that? 4. Let's do 4.75 just to make that even. Okay, 4 1/4. And this I'm going to change just to a different color just for right now. We'll center this. Now, this piece right here, see how there is the black? That's your, or not black, it's like a charcoal. That is going to be your backer. And then this one right here is your snow globe portion of it. And then you have this right here, and if you drag this up, it's going to, there's a slice and it looks like a donut. It needs to go a little, like the inside portion of it has to be smaller than your snow globe so it hides all those seams and edges. You're going to duplicate your snow globe portion. We are going to create an offset, or you can just make this smaller too. You could just do that. That would probably be easier. And again, you kind of want to make it, you want to make it pretty small. You don't want to have like any of the seams. And we'll select all of these and center. If you're thinking about sandwiches, this right here right now is the top portion. And then this gray, this lighter gray is going to be the outside edge of your snow globe. And so you kind of want to hide the seams because the inside seams of that snow globe is not cute. So we're trying to hide it. That's kind of what you want. The dimensions on keeping the border, once you start playing around with it, you'll kind of know how much border you're going to need to create for these. The goal is when you use the vinyl, when you get to where you are and it's a snow globe, if you start cutting around that and you cut too much, then you'll have a mess, which is what happened to me earlier. So we're going to try to avoid that. So you want to make this inside circle as small as possible. And we'll just select all of those, center again. Okay. Now taking this top circle, press shift, and then click that very back circle. See? So you're leaving the middle circle. Click that, duplicate that. So it looks like that. Right click and press slice. So now you're left with this one. We can delete these two. This is your backer piece. And we'll change that to white. Well, we're changing it to light gray because there's a Cricut glitch. So we're changing that to light gray. And then here is your second backer piece that we're also changing to light gray. This right here is going to be this blue donut. So we'll change this to light blue. And then we got, not this one right here. See how it's just it's a little bit smaller than the actual blue one. This one right here, you just can cut it as whatever color you want, because you're not going to actually use it for the cake topper. You're going to use it for something else. So that's the one you want to keep. You want to delete this one, and then we can just delete all these because we don't need them anymore. I'm going to center these two. Make sure that these are all the way to the back. This can go right there, and then this one, make sure this is at the very front. Okay, looks good. Select all of that and center. So that is your inner workings of the snow globe. Now, if you didn't want to do Olaf, you don't have to do Olaf. I just have the glitter that kind of matches it and gives it the feel. But essentially, all you want to do is now is we're going to arrange this here, and we'll just drag these over. So now Olaf and all his embellishments are up the front. Okay, so again, I had said this earlier. If you go into images and you put in Frozen or Olaf, if you don't already have them, then you can upload them yourself, or you can pay for them directly on Cricut Design Space. I have uploaded mine through, it's been forever. I uploaded it somewhere. I found the images somewhere online or about the SVGs. I don't even remember. It's been forever since I uploaded these. But essentially what you want to do is just find whatever characters or anything that you want. And I'm just going to arrange him. And these snowflakes too, I also uploaded them, but you can go into images and we can just do snowflakes, and you can just add in whatever snowflakes you want. Cricut Design Space, if you also pay for access, that little A, it's all free for you because you're already paying for it. So that's helpful too. So just add in whatever you want. We'll press cancel. Okay, and then you just want to arrange it to where all of these are going to fit inside, just like my cake topper. This font right here is actually a Cricut Design Space font. It's called BFC Snow Days. I actually kind of like it. Kind of reminded me of the Frozen font, but we're just going to make sure that everything fits there. But you can also still see, the important part about this is that you can still see the light gray, because that's going to be your snow globe. If you cover it all up with all of these clip arts and embellishments, then you can't see it, and then it was kind of wasted points for this. But like if we arrange that, I'm going to change this to a darker silver, because I want that to be silver glitter. And then I thought, okay, these two right here, I am going to do like a more of a Cinderella blue. So the colors, ooh, yes, perfect. So the colors that I chose to use for my, for this project, for my glitter cardstock, I'm using Cinderella blue, light blue, lilac, and glitter silver. And then for everything else, it's just white cardstock. This is it. That's it. That's all we need to do. We need to cut this. So we're going to arrange. If you're watching this and there's still a Cricut Design Space glitch for printing cut, change this over to A4 size. And then not everyone has this glitch. It's only happening to a certain people, but it's happening to me. So I'm going to have to change that to A4. And then this right here is 8.5 by 11 paper that I'm using. So I'm just going to arrange that to 8.5 by 11. And then everything else is glitter cardstock. I don't need to show you how to cut on the Cricuts. I'm sure you figured that out if you're already watching this video. So cut this stuff and then meet me back here and we'll finish assembling this cake topper.
Now that we have that all finished, what you should be left with is everything that you had cut out. So we have an Olaf, a number, couple snowflakes. We have one glitter donut thing. Then you have what is supposed to be your snow globe portion, and then two backer pieces. These three pieces right here, we're just going to set to the side because we don't need them for right now. And then all the rest of these embellishments, we don't need them, so we're just going to set them to the side for right now. Now we're going to work on the actual snow globe portion. This is like where the magic happens. Take your vinyl See how some of it has like wrinkles in it or like bend marks? You're wanting to try to avoid that. You don't want that in your cake topper. So when you cut this, using your scissors, just cut outside of your circle. Just like that. Okay. Here is that. And using some parchment paper. You don't want to ruin your heat press because you are melting plastic, so make sure you sandwich this in between 2 pieces of parchment paper. With you need 2 pieces of vinyl to make the sandwich. So all I'm doing is I'm putting that with my donut on top of it, and this is going to be your guide. So what you're going to do is we're going to fold this over. And this piece of parchment paper is pretty hard to work with, so I'm just going to put it down to size. Okay, so we have a sandwich of parchment paper. We have 2 pieces of the vinyl and then your guide. Now all you're going to do is with your heat press, your little heat press, don't do it directly on this or you'll melt your heat press to it. Put this over like this as a sandwich. Now you just want to take that and you want to iron the 2 pieces of plastic. It doesn't need a whole lot of pressure or time. You just want to make sure that it is heated up and melted together. Don't go all the way around. You want to leave a little, let me see here. Open this back up. Okay, don't go all the way around because you're going to need to fill it up. So if you turn this around, there is going to be like a little bit of a gap and it's hard to see, but it is there. You don't want that big of a circle because trust me, it'll be a pain in the butt later, but you just want to leave enough to where you're going to be able to shake your glitter in and then also put in your baby oil and water. And probably just a little bit more of a enclosure. I'm just going to leave my fingers right there just so I don't go too close and seal it all up. We're going to seal it up in a little bit. That's kind of where the mess comes into place with all this mess that I created. But essentially, can you see how it's like a little bit frosty in this area and then still clear right here? See? It's like frosty and then clear. This means that it's sealed. So if you can see like a perfect circle around everything besides what you missed earlier, that's perfect. And if you wanted to go back around to make sure that you sealed it all perfectly, you totally can do that too. I am going to do that just because I don't want to have another blowout mess like I did earlier today. That was a pain. But be mindful about where you left your opening. So that's your gap right here. My finger's in between that. So I'm just gonna put my fingers right there just so I don't mess that up. Luckily this vinyl is pretty inexpensive, so even if you were to mess up, it's not like I think this thing was like $4 for a whole lot. I mean, it was cheap. Looks pretty good. And then open this back up. All right, there it is. Like, there's no way I put that together. Okay. So now you can see that there is like a perfect circle. Perfect circle. We're going to fill this up now. So I'm just going to kind of open this up a little bit. All right. I'm going to take my glitter and I'm going to shake it in. I have no actual measurements for anything. That's just my life. I even cook that way. So I just kind of shake it in there until I think I have enough glitter. I'm sure if you're watching this and you're a tumbler maker, you're probably cringing at my process on this, but it works for me. So do what works for you in the making snow globe process. Okay, I think that's good. Like, that seems to be a good amount. Now all you're going to want to do is make sure, try your darndest not to get any water or baby oil in that area where you're going to seal it up, because if you do, this seal won't be as great, and then that's where you're going to have to use the alcohol wipes. I tried to avoid doing that altogether, so I would suggest just not making a mess. Try your hardest not to make a mess. Okay, open up your baby oil. Originally, I was using this to scoop it up, but it has kind of like a fine tip, like squeeze bottle. So I think I can get away with I got a little bit of baby oil on the lip of that. Darn it. This is where the alcohol wipe will come into use. Again, if you don't have alcohol wipes, but you have just alcohol, get some cotton rub, like a cotton ball, cotton swab, or a cotton pad, put a little bit of alcohol in it, and you're just going to clean that little edge off. That just makes for a crisper seal, and you'll have less leakage. There we go. I really do think to be less messy, I'm just going to use my syringe. So I do not want to create another mess. That is done. I'm not going to do all baby oil. I am going to mix it up. So I'm going to use that same syringe and use my cup. We're going to open that back up and squeeze a little bit of water in there. Okay. You will know if you did not seal this properly because it'll start leaking everywhere very quickly. But I'm just going to fill it just like this. I don't need a whole lot of fill in there. I'm going to give this one good wipe again with the alcohol wipe. Now, what you want to do is kind of lean it against the table so the gravity of it all is hanging down here. With your parchment paper, just lean that over. And I'm just going to seal the edge. I'm going to use this as my guide, same like I did before. Don't let go because then it's going to drop on the ground and you're going to have a mess. Then I'm just going to take my heat press and I'm going to seal up that small little hole that you were left with. Okay, let that cool before you turn it around to make sure that it's sealed correctly. But now you can see that there is like a whole circle and it's frosty. And then you go around. It's enough cooled where I can, now it's holding perfectly. Perfect. Okay. Don't manhandle it too much because then you don't want to pop it because it will pop if you like push down really hard. You can see, it kind of looks like a breast implant. That's what this kind of looks like, but it's not. Just a glittery one. Okay. Now what you want to do, make sure this next portion, if you cut into your circle, it's going to explode. You don't want to do that. So by using, I'm going to move this out of the way so we don't get that weird oil marking on the back. I'm going to push these out of the way. I'm going to bring back my stuff. Okay, lay this down here. Now, do you see how there is plastic hanging? You're going to want to cut all of that off. But first, oh man, and I already got, because it's right here. This is the messy part. Ooh, that one still looks good. Awesome. Okay, so using your hot glue, again, I love hot glue. If you wanted to use a different glue, you totally could, but hot glue I just like so much more, just is easier to work with. All I'm going to do is take a small little bead of hot glue around my entire backer piece. I like my hot glue gun because it's adjustable temp, so it's not going to melt anything, plus I never get blisters, because I have it down pretty low to where it'll still glue, but it just won't burn your fingertips. I'm going to center this on that backer piece, and I'm going to lay the vinyl on top of that. So then the hot glue just melted with the vinyl. Now just take your scissors and trim off the excess that's right here. Make sure you don't cut into that what you already ironed on. If you do, you're gonna have a mess. It's gonna be a pain in the butt to clean up. Trust me, my floor right now, yeah, it looks pretty bad because I cut into my first one and it was a mess, Ooh. Okay, just throw it down on the ground. See? Perfect, and it's holding water. Love it. Okay, now for this part right here, this donut piece you can save for later if you wanted to use it again. We're not going to use it again, so I'm just going to toss that. This is your backer piece, and then this right here needs to go on top of your donut. And the reason why we did that is because you see how this is the ugly portion right here. We're going to hide that. It's like a crafting trick. We're going to hide that. We're going to put that over the top, and you're never going to see that. Again, I am just going to take my hot glue gun. I'm going to put it right here actually. And I'm going to do a bead of hot glue around the entire thing. See? And because it's not extremely hot, I'm not worried about it melting my my vinyl because it's not very hot. If yours is very hot, wait for a second for it to cool, and then you can lay it on there. Okay, there we go. Now, if you wanted to stop here and not do another backer piece for like a cake topper, that's fine. If I glued it on here, I mean, it's all right, but the back is kind of ugly. That's kind of where this comes into place. But also what I'm going to do is do like one more kind of, I'm going to cut it down to size, but I'm going to do it like this so there's more stability to the back of it so it won't flop over, because this is a pretty heavy cake topper. But before I finish doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue on my Olaf, and I'm just going to kind of arrange them just like how I did before using hot glue. Again, I love my hot glue gun. There are people that are very afraid of hot glue, and then there are other people that are YOLO, and I am YOLO. Just put a little bit of hot glue right there, and I'm going to lay it down right on my vinyl. See? I am going to arrange my number 4. I'm going to bring his arm up, and I'm going to just bloop a little bit of glue. There we go. Same thing with your snowflakes. I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the back of it and just kind of arranging them. So now, this is what you got. You have a snow globe, and then you have Olaf. Look at how cute that is. I love him. Okay, flipping him over just like this. I'm going to put a stick, just a bead of glue, and I'm going to put this stick. This is going to be your cake topper portion. This is going to go sit inside of your cake. And now I'm just going to trim this in half. And it doesn't really matter where you're going to put this because it's just really for stability. So it doesn't blow over, topple over, you know, all those horrible things that could happen in a cake topper. I'm going to get one more stick. Okay, just like that. Oh, why don't we just put that on there? Why? I don't know. I'm pretty sure it doesn't even add anything to the structure, but it's going there. Okay, all you need to do now is just use this last backer. See how this is ugly? I mean, this is ugly, right? This is really ugly. When we put this on there, it is no longer ugly. It's like magic. It's craft magic right here. So same thing like you did before. Just add a bead of glue around the outside edge. I always like to go back in and just do like a little bit of a star thing, just more glue. Line that up with the back, press it on there.
And now you have a snow globe cake topper. I know those shaker cake toppers are so stinking cool, but like, isn't it cooler that you just made yourself a snow globe, like an actual snow globe? I mean, isn't that so cool? And you can shake it. Love it. If you wanted to fill up your cake topper or the snow globe a little bit more to give it more fill, you could totally do that too. But I just like it just like this. All right, y'all. I hope I inspired you, and I cannot wait to see all of your snow globe cake toppers, your working snow globe cake toppers. Ooh, I'm so excited. Okay, y'all. I will see you later.